Superman bent steel with his bare hands. Joe Magarac was steel. Long before comic books gave us flying aliens in capes, America had another man of steel. Only he didn't save the world. He just built it. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, in the blazing heart of Pittsburgh. He could outwork 10 men and drink molten steel straight from the ladle. And he once held up a collapsing furnace with one hand while finishing his shift with the other. So here's the question. Was this steel worker stronger than Superman? Or was Joe Magarac ever real in any way? It isn't about comic book fantasy. It's a story about labor, legend, and what happens when a country invents a man who can't be broken. To understand Joe, you have to understand steel. Pittsburgh in the early 1900s wasn't just hot. It was so hot the shadows gave up and went home. How hot was it? Hot enough to fry your hope before your eggs. A churning inferno of molten metal, smoke, and back-breaking labor. Immigrants from Eastern Europe came for the dream and found 14-hour shifts, deafening noise, and the constant threat of death in more ways than OSHA could count. Somewhere in that chaos, Joe Magarac appeared. The place was full of puddling furnaces and blooming mills and men so tough they called second-degree burns pink badges. OSHA wouldn't survive 5 minutes. Joe Magarac, a man made of steel, or maybe born from it. Stories claimed he stood 7 feet tall, with arms like smokestacks and an appetite of a blast furnace. He never slept, he never slowed down, and he never complained. He was so strong, the steel mill had to take breaks from him. The earliest known stories of Joe Magarac started circulating in Pittsburgh around 1931. His first documented appearance was in a Collier's Weekly article by Owen Francis, which gave Joe his name, his near-mythical strength, and his appetite for molten metal. That's 7 years before Superman debuted in Action Comics #1, published in June 1938 by DC Comics. And while Superman fought robots and alien threats, Joe fought deadlines and molten iron. He was the working man's superhero, shoveling coal with one hand while forging steel beams with the other. In one bit of legend, Magarac enters a strength contest to win the hand of a local woman. In another, he stops disaster by holding up an entire collapsing steel mill until his co-workers escape. How heavy was it? Let's just say if gravity had a complaint box, Joe Magarac's name could have been on every form in the box. But it wouldn't be, because Joe never complained. And in one of the more poetic versions of the end of Joe, he throws himself into a vat of molten steel, sacrificing himself so that his strength could live on in the girders of a new mill. Superman may have leapt tall buildings, but Joe built them. Joe Magarac may not have been real, but then again, neither was Superman. And yet we needed both. Some historians believe the legend was invented by steel mill owners as propaganda, a way to encourage immigrant workers to keep their heads down and their muscles flexed. Need more shifts covered? Just invent a guy who never clocks out. Be like Joe, don't complain, don't strike, just keep working. Others argue the opposite, that Joe was created by the workers as a symbol of pride, endurance, and unbreakable identity in a system designed to erase them. Either way, Joe became larger than life. A myth forged from sweat, smoke, and hope. And not entirely without foundation. One retired mill worker once said, "We knew Joe wasn't real, but some days it helped to pretend that someone could take it all and never fall down." Who wins the ultimate showdown? Superman's strength came from the sun. Joe's came from the furnace. Superman could fly. Joe never needed to. Why fly when your job is to keep everything from falling? Superman saved Lois Lane. Joe saved entire work crews. One fought imaginary villains in tights. The other took on American industry. Maybe it's not about who was stronger. Maybe it's about who carried more and who never put it down. Joe Magarac didn't wear a cape. He wore gloves, boots, and burns. He didn't ask to be famous. He didn't even ask for a shift change. And in the end, he gave more than he ever got. If Superman is the hero we imagined, then Joe Magarac is the one we needed. Superman may have been the man of steel, but Joe Magarac was the steel. So, here's an ounce. We don't just invent heroes to inspire us. We invent them to survive us. And sometimes the strongest man in the story never gets to rest. And that's it. An ounce submitted for your consideration. Burnout isn't new. It just used to look like soot and blisters instead of Zoom fatigue and deadlines. But the lesson's the same. Strength isn't about not breaking, it's about knowing when to breathe. Like what you heard? Give it a share, and hit that subscribe button like Joe hit deadlines. And leave a comment. Who do you think was tougher, Superman or Joe? Or tell us about a folk hero from your own hometown. Thanks.